I saw a video the other day that showed a way to clean your used cooking oil. And they did it using cornstarch and water. Now, this was something I've never seen before, never heard of, and I wanted to try it out. Now, before I get started, I'll show you the oil that we're going to be cleaning, and I'll also show you the way that I've always filtered my oil. Now, these two containers of cooking oil, you can see, have both been used. They actually came from two different cooks that I did, and so I combined all the oil, and then I split it up pretty equally into the two containers so they would both have a lot of the burnt flour and crumbs and stuff at the bottom. And the thing is about cooking oil is you can use cooking oil over and over and over again for a long time. A lot of restaurants, even ones that use batter and flour to fry things, only change their oil once a week, but they're cooking in it all day long. So when you're using cooking oil at home, it can last a very long time if you filter it out. The main thing that happens to cooking oil is those little pieces in the bottom, the crumbs and everything that falls off the food burns. And when they burn, they foul out the oil. And then the oil starts tasting bad. So if you can clean all that stuff out of your oil is going to last quite a while, and you can cook in it over and over again. The way that I filtered my oil for many, many years now, I would take a container, put a colander on top, then I would take a paper towel. Typically, I'll split the layers off like this. You don't have to do this, but it just speeds up the process of filtering a little bit. I'll lay the sheet inside the colander and then pour my oil in. When it gets down to all the junk at the bottom, I'll pour just a little slower, trying to keep most of that out right there. Now, I know some of you are saying try a coffee filter. I found that coffee filters don't really work. They work great for coffee, but oil is thicker. I guess you could say it has a thicker viscosity, and it just doesn't flow through the coffee filter properly. But you can see what's coming through is nothing but pure oil. Very few of the little crumbs that were in there are going to make it through, if any. So while that filters, I'm going to heat up the oil in my fryer, and I'm going to try out this new method. I've got my deep fryer turned on, set to 350. So I'm going to pour this oil in. And on this one, I am going to let those crumbs go into the bottom, because I want to see if this new method that I just learned about is going to be able to get all that out, as well as the traditional way that I've been doing it. I'll give that a few minutes to heat up, and then we'll see if the cornstarch method to clean oil works as good as filtering it out the old-fashioned way. Okay, the fryer's up to about 350, so I'll take water, and I think 2 heaping teaspoons of the cornstarch is what I need. There's 1, 2. I'll mix that up. I don't know if I'll need all of this, because the deep fryer is not completely full. Well, not full up to the top, but to the line. All right, let's pour this in and see what happens. I'm probably not going to pour all of it. Well, that was a little eventful. I knew pouring the water in would cause a little bit of foam to come to the top. I didn't know exactly how much. I fast forwarded through just a little bit of it there, but it's slowly getting back to normal, and I do see a layer of crumbs and crud floating on top of the oil here. I can't resist going ahead and scooping. Okay, it's pulling some stuff out. Let's see. Just like I did see on the video, it made like a little island of crud. All right, I'd say initial impressions are that worked pretty good. I think I've gotten everything out. So I turn the fryer off, and I'm going to sit this over to the side for now, because I'm not really going to be able to see everything in the oil until I pour it into another bowl. So in the meantime, we can look at the oil that I'm filtering the old-fashioned way with a paper towel. And looks really, really good. I know it's only partially on camera here, but it is nice and clean. And we'll take a little bit better look at it in a minute. And I'm going to pour the oil that I used the cornstarch in back into this bowl. Okay, just pouring it, there is still some debris in the fryer. So I'm going to let this settle down for just a couple minutes, and by then my other oil should be done filtering, and we'll take a look at both of them side by side. Okay, I've given it about 10 minutes, and looking at the oil that I filtered, what I keep calling the old-fashioned way, it's just about all out. There's a little bit in the bottom that I'm not too worried about, so I'm going to move it right over here. Okay, so here's the oil that I filtered just using one layer of a paper towel. It looks almost pristine. Here's the oil I used the cornstarch in, and it still has some debris in it. So before I make a complete determination, I'm going to put this oil back into that fryer, heat it up, and I'm going to use the rest of the cornstarch and water mixture. Okay, we're back up to temp in the deep fryer. So I'm going to mix up my cornstarch and my water one more time because a lot of it is settled at the bottom. Okay, let's go for round 2. I would say that one was a little more eventful than the last one. But that's also why I stopped pouring it a little bit early last time, is because I didn't want it to overflow. Okay, it's been several minutes that it's been doing its thing. So let me just check and see how much of a Crumb Island has been made so far. It's kind of gooey. I better wait because it's definitely kind of gooey in there. Okay, it's been about 7 minutes that it's been doing its thing here. So I'm going to try to pull some of this out. I really didn't think it would take that long for it to solidify this mess. Okay, I think I've got most of it out. Maybe all of it. But look at the... I don't know if it's coming across on camera. Really slimy looking stuff there. So I'm going to turn off the fryer. Move that out the way just a little bit. I cleaned the bowl that I had the oil in earlier. So I'm going to pour it in and let's check it out. There is still some of that slimy looking stuff in the bottom of the fryer. I will say that this time the oil looks significantly better than it did the first time. So using enough of the cornstarch and water does make a big difference. Okay, here are the final results of filtering with a paper towel versus using cornstarch and water. The paper towel filtered oil is a little bit lighter. And remember, these oils came from the same batch, so it's not like one wasn't as dirty as the other. And I also noticed that in here there are still some little floaties, but they come out pretty easy. So after using the cornstarch and water properly, I have to say that I'm pretty impressed with how well it cleaned the oil. I really did not think it was going to clean it as good as it did. And just to be clear, I didn't set out to try to disprove this method. I actually wanted it to work because it can make filtering my oil much easier. As soon as I'm done cooking, say, some fried chicken or fried fish, let it clean and simply scoop all the debris out. So I'm going to give the cornstarch and water a thumbs up, and I think I'll make this my new method to clean my oil. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.